If you believe in different genetic ancestors, childbearing patterns, evolution, among other factors in group development, why do we persist in the notion that all groups, on average, are the same when it comes to intelligence? It makes no logical sense that groups can evolve to be completely different in terms of physical externalities, but be completely the same on average when it comes to the brain. And it is not backed up by any statistics that all groups on average are the same. However, the impact of intelligence also varies within groups to such a degree that we cannot treat individuals differently based on appearance, at least on a personal level. These are topics that are so politically incorrect, despite being never disproven, that I never expected to bring them up, simply because anyone who brings them up is accused with various slander and insults. Yet Sam Harris, one of the most rational voices on the center left, and his opener to his conversation with IQ researcher Charles Murray, confirms that these are facts. And this is coming from Sam Harris, someone who has always been very skeptical of these claims.
I mean, there was a time when being a few standard deviations above the mean in intelligence didn't get you very much when you're just plowing the field alongside your neighbors. But now you can start a software company or a hedge fund. Okay, and this leads to astonishing levels of wealth inequality and cultural isolation. This is a theme that Murray has returned to in his other work, and in a more recent book, Coming Apart, which we also discuss. Now, unfortunately for Murray, what we have here is a set of nested taboos. Human intelligence itself is a taboo topic. People don't want to hear that intelligence is a real thing, and that some people have more of it than others. They don't want to hear that IQ tests really measure it. They don't want to hear that differences in IQ matter, because they're highly predictive of differential success in life, and not just for things like educational attainment and wealth, but for things like out-of-wedlock birth and mortality. People don't want to hear that a person's intelligence is in large measure due to his or her genes, and that there seems to be very little we can do environmentally to increase a person's intelligence, even in childhood. It's not that the environment doesn't matter, but genes appear to be 50 to 80% of the story. People don't want to hear this. And they certainly don't want to hear that average IQ differs across races and ethnic groups. Now, for better or worse, these are all facts. In fact, there is almost nothing in psychological science for which there is more evidence than these claims. About IQ, about the validity of testing for it, about its importance in the real world, about its heritability, and about its differential expression in different populations. Again, this is what a dispassionate look at decades of research suggests. Whatever the difference in average IQ is across groups, you know nothing about a person's intelligence on the basis of his or her skin color. That is just a fact. There is much more variance among individuals in any racial group than there is between groups. So, besides being unethical and politically imprudent, it is totally irrational to treat people as anything other than individuals. Murray and Herrnstein were absolutely clear about this in the bell curve. So, what happened to Murray, as far as I can tell, has had nothing to do with errors of scholarship, of which undoubtedly there must be some, or for the way he's conducted himself since, or for his personal motives for discussing these topics in the first place. Rather, his scapegoating has been entirely the result of his having merely discussed differences in human intelligence at all. Now, it's certainly true that the definitions of both intelligence and race are open for debate, to some degree. And there can be cultural influences in the concepts we use that we don't totally understand. But the efforts to invalidate the very notions of general intelligence and race have been wholly unconvincing from a psychometric and biological point of view, and are obviously motivated by a political discomfort in talking about these things, on points about which there is virtually no scientific controversy.
What Harris says is backed up by science. Yet the fact that people who bring up this science are persecuted shows the genuine inhibition to science imposed by the PC culture. People attack this science largely because it defies the Marxist idea that all people, genders, and groups are the same and only shaped by society. The unfortunate fact is that many of the most moderate voices in the field have been vilified as bigots, sexist, or racist. People like Charles Murray, Philippe Rushton, Heinrich Niebuhr, or Richard Herrnstein, just to name a few, have been vilified for their beliefs, despite being moderate classical liberals in pursuit of the truth. Yet being scared of intelligence studies is flawed for several reasons. First, because there is incredible variance within groups, as I said before, so one cannot judge on a personal basis based on outward appearance. Secondly, because intelligence does not make you less or more of a human, and thus the idea of intelligence being equated to moral superiority is inherently false. And third, the success or worth of a human being is by no means solely determined by intelligence, nor is it the same as wisdom, and finally does not make someone less of a good person or a good friend. We must get over this fear in pursuit of the truth. When we got over the fears about dissecting the body during the Renaissance, we allowed the well-being of humanity to be significantly improved. Learning the truth about ourselves should not be taboo, as it will only allow us to further master who we are and who we were meant to be, and to understand ourselves, and understand how to make better societies. However, the persecution of those who seek to discover who we are is nothing new. Even the father of modern philosophy, Socrates, who although was not a scientist, was one who genuinely looked at the human condition in a new way, was executed by the mob. We must be open to the truth about the impact of intelligence in our society and in other societies if we are to remain genuine seekers of the truth.